നിന്റെ ആദ്യത്തെ കാർ.
സമയം മാറാൻ തുടങ്ങി, കനവുകൾ സഫലമായി ആദ്യമായി കൊണ്ടുപോകും.
ഇത്തരം ആദ്യാനുഭവങ്ങളിൽ എപ്പോഴും നിങ്ങൾക്കൊപ്പമുണ്ട് ഓൾട്ടോ K10.
The world's coolest species of fish all live in the ocean. And because I want to keep these unique kinds of fish as pets, in this video I'm going to build my very own chunk of a coral reef to keep them in. And it was definitely worth it because I got to watch stuff like coral come to life, my pregnant seahorses literally give birth on camera, and much, much more. And of course, it all began on day one, where I had none of that stuff. But I did have one thing, and that was a $1,000 budget, baby. Now, you might be thinking $1,000 seems a bit overkill, but trust me, coral reef tanks are extremely expensive. I'm honestly probably gonna need more than this. I might gotta steal some money from my parents. Anyways, the first step was to head out to the pet store and buy most of the supplies needed. First of all, I got this rimless tank to build everything in. Next, I chose out a bunch of rocks. Wait, what? $6 per rock. Bro, I need like 20 of these. I am not about to spend $100 on rocks. Finally, I picked out some sand, basic technologies, and some secret advanced technologies to make this coral reef super interesting later in the video. Alright, the supplies have been supplied, but for now, I'm just gonna get rid of most of this stuff because they're for later. To start, what we gotta do is unbox this tank. And thankfully, the tank was pretty nice and even came equipped with this functional light on it. But unfortunately, it did have this big ugly gray thing on it, which apparently was a water filter built into it. If I knew it came with a filter, I wouldn't have spent $120 on my own filter. So yeah, I just kind of lost $120. To start the build, we gotta first pour in the sand, of course. Let's just dump that in there. Yeah, just like that. Wait, hold up. Look at this, bro. My bag, it has like mold in it. What the heck? Why is it green? I don't think sand's supposed to be green, but I put it in anyways. Next, it's time to use our rocks. But let me tell you something, these are not just normal rocks. I actually went all out and I got purple rocks. So, yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. Okay, in hindsight, I might have overestimated how many rocks I needed. I'm pretty sure this is more rocks than can even fit inside of this tank. But it's alright, because you know what they say, the more rocks, the merrier. Let's get to building. So basically, we're gonna use the rocks to build up a beautiful purple arch. Then later, I'm gonna cover that arch with some luscious corals, and I'm even gonna put some seahorses in to finish the whole thing off. So you know what time it is. It is time for the rock building montage. Let's go. Alright, after building a little while, this is what I've got. But to continue this part of the build, I do need some smaller rocks, and the only supply of rocks I have now are too big. So, you know what time it is. It's time to smash rocks. And after smashing the rocks, I had to build with them again. Alright, well, the rock thing is finished. And honestly, this isn't even looking too bad. This definitely has potential to be a super good coral reef tank. But speaking of coral, I should probably get some to put inside. Yeah, so I drove out to the pet store again, and I looked all around for some coral in an ocean. And you know, it'd be pretty cool if we, you know, had that. Like, it could be food for the coral and stuff. Yeah, so I want to add it in. Okay, let me pour some of this in. Feelings of burnout, and if you're feeling that right now, you can join me on BetterHelp. The best thing about BetterHelp is all you have to do is answer a few simple questions, and they match you with a therapist that will be able to understand you perfectly. If this sounds interesting, you can go to my link, BetterHelp. First of all, there's this beautiful purplish one that has these green polyp hairs pop out of it. Very cool. Second, there's this one that has these long tentacles with flowers on the end that just waves around in the water flow. Yeah, that's also pretty cool. And finally, one of my favorite ones is this coral called a green Duncan that opens up these little thick tentacles and they just flow around very coolly once again. Yeah. Anyways, now that we got coral in here, it's time to actually add in some fish, baby. And after searching around online for a little bit, I found the coolest species of fish I could add in. Dwarf seahorses. Okay, so there's this website. Oh my gosh. Yep, it turned out those seahorses with big bumps on them were actually pregnant seahorses. And I caught one of them at the perfect moment to record them giving birth. Oh, look, there's another one of the babies. Oh my gosh, the baby's right next to the dad or the mom. I don't know if it's a guy or girl.
Interestingly enough, males are actually the ones that give birth in the world of seahorses. I don't know how that works, but I don't really want to know if I'm gonna be honest. And I also got to watch one of the coolest things happen. One of the babies went up to his dad and gave him a big hug with his tail. Aww. That is so cool. Alright, anyways, now I got one final creature I'm gonna add into this enclosure. But before I add in this creature, I just want to say that only 5% of you guys are subscribed. Now, I know every YouTuber says this, but seriously, that does mean there's a 95% chance you aren't subscribed. If you've ever seen one of my other videos, or if you're liking this video at all, please just subscribe because it helps me make more videos like this. Anyways, for the creature I was gonna add, check these out. Marine hermit crabs, baby. These, as you probably know, are just hermit crabs, you know, just crabs. They're in shells, they live underwater, pretty cool. But they actually do have a use, as they'll eat algae and keep the tank clean overall. Thanks, guys. After a couple more days, the other seahorse started to have his babies, and soon there was like 20 little babies swimming all around the tank. Aww. If I'm being completely honest, this is not the prettiest tank I've ever built, but it definitely is gonna make a good home for the army of seahorses I'm gonna be raising. Make sure to subscribe, everybody, and yeah, thanks for watching the video.